Good afternoon and welcome to the NSTP FASET Parent Panel discussion. My name is James Allen Jr. and I am a coordinator for new student and transition programs here at Georgia Tech, where I specifically oversee our extended orientation program, Rec Camp. Today I will serve as your moderator for this panel along with my colleague Cynthia Jennings, who is the Director of New Student and Transition Programs. We are so excited that you are here with us today and welcome you and your students to the Georgia Tech family. We also hope that you and your loved ones are safe during these uncertain times. To begin our panel discussion, our panelists will have the opportunity to introduce themselves.
Good morning, everyone, or I guess it's good afternoon. My name is Colleen Riggle. I serve as Associate Dean of Students within the Division of Student Life, and I am excited to talk to you today.
Hello, I'm Ansley Sharp. I'm the Assistant Registrar for Registration and Customer Service, and happy to answer any questions that you have today, and wonderful to see you.
Hello there, I'm Chris Reeves. I'm the Executive Director of Academic Engagement Programs, which is part of undergraduate education. More specifically, I focus on living learning communities, undergraduate research, and student innovation.
Hello everyone, my name is Michaela Allen. I am a student account specialist for the Bursar's office, so I'm here to answer your financial related questions.
You're muted, Larry.
Second take. Good afternoon. My name is Larry. I work with the Office of Scholarships and Financial Aid as the Customer Service Manager.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brett Hulst. I'm the Associate Director of Residence Life, and I'll be answering questions for campus services today.
Good afternoon. Hi, my name is DeMorris Walker. I'm the Director of Summer Sessions Initiatives, and we oversee the Ignite program. I'm looking forward to speaking with you all.
All right, and as a reminder, if you have a question that has not been asked, please feel free to send a message in our anonymous chat bar within Microsoft Teams. If we do not receive many questions during this session, we will be ending early as a forewarning. We will do our very best to field all questions asked within this hour time frame. If you ask a question and we don't publish it, it is because we have already answered this question. This video will be posted in the FASET Parent Canvas later on today. So to begin our discussion, we start with our first question in the chat. Our first question today is for campus services. How much are parking permits and where does that allow students to park?
Yes, so parking permits are available through Parking and Transportation Services. Driverseat.gatech.edu is the website to apply for a parking permit. Parking permits for the academic year are $795, and that will, you select a zone that you'd like to park in, so close to your residence hall, close to the classrooms you want to be in. Whatever choice you make, whatever's available to you from those zones, you can pick that zone, but all parking permits cost $795. For the academic year. For the summer session, parking is by the month and you apply for it the same way. I believe it's around $100 a month, $110 a month for summer parking until August when the fall permit will kick in.
All right, and we thank you for that answer, Brett. The next question that we have is going to be for Colleen. The question is, how does my son or daughter join a Greek organization?
Great question. Thanks for that. I'm happy to answer it. So your student would join a Greek organization by registering to be a part of recruitment. When I'm done speaking, I'll drop a few links into the chat, but they actually just updated. I got a note this morning that they had updated kind of dates and when things are going to take place in the fall semester. So there's 4 councils. Each council is going to do recruitment a little bit differently, and so there'll be different things to kind of keep in mind depending on what council your student is interested in. But basically, they're going to register to be a part of recruitment. There is a fee that they'll pay, and then there's some dates for them to kind of keep in mind. Some will be hybrid. Some things will be all in person, but smaller groups. But I'll go ahead and drop those links in the chat. And then you can kind of poke around the Fraternity and Sorority Life website.
All right, we thank you for that answer there, Colleen. We have another campus services question for you, Brett. This is a popular one that we get. What is the difference between dining dollars and buzz funds?
Absolutely. Dining dollars are funds that are available on a meal plan, or in addition to a meal plan. If you don't have a meal plan, you can purchase dining dollars as well, that are tax-free funds that can be used in Georgia Tech run and operated dining facilities on campus. So dining halls and some of the other restaurants that are on campus that are run by dining services will take dining dollars. It's tax-free, so that you will not be charged tax when you use them, and it's a declining balance. So if you buy a coffee, it would just take that amount off, or if you buy a full meal, it would take that amount off. You can always add more funds to that as well in certain increments. Buzz funds are taxable money that are part of that you can be added to the Buzz card. That can be added through the Buzz card website. Also, there's some stations around campus where they can be added as well. And those funds are not tax-free. They are taxed, but you can use them in the bookstore and copy machines and vending machines. A number of places around campus that are not run by dining services will take the Buzz card. Also, a few places off campus take the Buzz card as well. So you can order a pizza or something like that. You can use your Buzz card funds as well. It's basically, that's like a declining balance debit card.
And thank you, Brad. And while I have you here live, I have another question for you. What dorms will be available for freshmen in the fall?
Yes, so our process, so for folks who have applied for housing for the fall, that process will begin later this month when we open up the My Housing portal for folks to start looking, if they're looking for a roommate, to start looking for folks who are also looking for roommates. You do not have to go through the process with a roommate. Later in July, we will start the process of room selection. It is a self-selection process. So depending on when you applied and paid for housing, that gives you your priority number, and that will kind of determine what buildings are open. All of our residence halls are opened in the fall. So every building that you see on our website, housing.gatech.edu, when you click under buildings, is available. For first years, the buildings available are traditional style and suite style halls. The apartments are available for our upper class students only. So all of those buildings will be available on a first come, first serve based on priority. And so they do begin to fill up as we go through July, but all buildings are available. The one caveat is if you're in a living learning community, there's very specific buildings that LLCs happen in. And so you'd only be able to live in that building if you have selected to be in an LLC.
All right, and we thank you for that answer, Brett. This next question is going to be for Ansley in our registrar's office. How does a student register for the second class in a program if they've received AP credit for the prereq, but GT hasn't received records from College Board yet?
James, this is always an important question this time of year, just because we are still waiting for 2021 AP scores to arrive. The deadline has been pushed back till the end of July from College Board, so it's going to be several more weeks. So if your student is anticipating transfer credit from AP or dual enrollment credit, but we have not received the records to review, I do encourage your student to speak with their advisor today during FASET to see if a permit is recommended by the teaching department. Those permits are issued at the discretion of the department, but I do encourage all students to ask that today just because of the delay of these scores. But if they have been reviewed for the credit, it's in their degree works, it shows as received, then they should not need to request any type of permit. They should be able to register for the next class in line.
Thank you, Ansley. And while I have you here, I have another question for you, kind of goes along the same lines here. Is there a deadline to expect for transfer or dual credit AP credits to be awarded specifically for summer session students, assuming all transcripts have been received?
If the transcript is received, if the AP scores are received, the credit should be there by now. So please let me know. I'll put my email address in the chat so that you can reach out to me directly so that I can take a look at that for your student, because that should be there by now.
And thank you for that answer there, Ansley. This next question is going to be for Brett and Campus Services. The question is, can you talk about where student mail should be sent? My student has refrigerated medicine that is sent twice a month and would need to make sure received in a timely fashion.
So all campus mail is delivered to the Student Center post office, which is in the exhibition hall as the Student Center is being renovated right now. If there's refrigerated items and things like that, students should be kind of keeping an eye on the tracking number to know when it's delivered. They do keep things in refrigeration that are labeled refrigeration, but that space is limited. And so as long as students are keeping an eye on that, they should know when it's being delivered. They should set the delivery date for Monday to Friday during business hours of the post office if they need to pick it up immediately as well. But all mail is delivered to that post office, which is in the central part of campus, and students will get that address once they've registered for classes for summer session. And once they have their summer session mailbox, that will be the one that they have for the rest of school.
We thank you for that answer, Brett. This next question is going to be for Larry in financial aid. The question is, when will summer financial aid be available? You're muted, Larry.
Thank you. Summer financial aid, for the most part, has been released. If you've not gotten a financial aid award notice, there could be a number of reasons why. You would want to be sure to have the student to check their Oscar account and their financial aid menu to ensure that there are no outstanding requirements. And of course, if there are questions, you can email us finaid@gatech.edu, include the student's 9-digit GTID number, and we can take a look at that.
And thank you so much for that answer, Larry. This next question is going to be for Colleen. It's a sorority-specific question, but are letters of recommendation needed for sorority recruitment?
No, they are not. They're not required for recruitment. The process, and I'll drop another link in the chat here after I'm done. We'll talk about kind of what the process looks like. If you do know someone that was a part of that organization, or you're maybe like a legacy or something like that, and you want someone to write a letter, you're welcome to do that. And then I'll drop in the chat who you'll send those letters to, but that's not a requirement of recruitment. I did see a question about fraternity dues or costs and things like that. I'm going to drop another link underneath that, but there are a couple information seminars coming up with part of the When the Whistle, or the Whistle webinar series that if you are able to tune into that, that'll answer some more of your questions specific to that. But all fraternities and sororities kind of have different dues and different things like that. So there's no kind of set amount per organization.
All right, thank you so much for that answer there, Colleen. This next question is actually going to be for DeMorris. The question is, for summer session, if a student is living off campus, can they still eat in the dining hall and attend Ignite events?
Hi, thank you for that question. Yes, a student can purchase a dining pass to eat with the other students who are here for Ignite on campus. And they can also attend the other events if they're local, but in some cases the event may be limited to space. And so the priority space will be provided for those who are living on campus. But they, there are a number of activities and events that says if space provides, students who are in the local area can participate. You just have to look out for if there are any restrictions.
All right, thank you so much for that answer, DeMorris. This next question is a general question. Can you please talk about any in-person campus tours that are available before the summer session starts?
I can probably talk about that briefly, James, only because I just went and visited the website. But yeah, I know admissions has started some in-person tours as of June 1, and those are some tours that you can sign up. It is a student-guided tour. You won't be able to speak to anyone in the staff in the admissions office. They're offering those virtually, so you can talk to staff, but it will be virtually. But there are some in-person tours happening right now on campus, so you should go to admissions to sign up for those.
All right, thank you so much for that answer there, Chris. This next question that we have is, if the student is on the meal plan, is there food available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? It's for Brett.
Our dining halls and restaurants on campus have varying hours. Most places on campus, the first places start opening up around 7 a.m. The last places start closing around 1 a.m. However, using buzz funds and personal money, there is a Waffle House on campus. If you're desperate for food, they are open 24 hours a day. Even during hurricanes, you can still go there when everything else is closed on campus, or an ice storm. They will be open serving food. I jokingly say that, but even during emergencies when campus is closed, we still serve food to students who are on campus. I will say that, not to worry you. If there is a ice storm on campus, we will be feeding students. But those are hours. They do close during the evenings. There are kitchens in the building, so students can have refrigerators in their rooms. So if they want to have some frozen things and some snacks, they can cook those in their kitchens as well, overnight hours as well.
And thank you so much for that answer, Brett. You might be able to help with this one as well, or Chris. But how can students reserve places to study?
I'm going to give that one to Chris.
Okay, sure. So there's a lot of spaces on campus to study all over campus. Some of the primary ones that you see, especially for an incoming student, are in the Clough building, which is where I'm located. There's a lot of spaces around, just open spaces to study, and library. The library was renovated the last couple of years, so there's a ton of spaces there. If you want a private space or a small group space, there's different areas that you can reserve through the campus reservation system for a particular area for your particular group to study.
And thank you so much for that answer, Chris. This next question is going to go to DeMorris. The question is, can a student do research during Ignite?
Hi, thank you for that question. Probably not, unless it's already a part of the course that they're taking. The schedule is so fast, it's only 5 weeks, and students are in 3 different courses, and so they're probably not going to have time to do something outside of the classes that they're taking. However, we have a track called undergraduate research, which there'll be a number of presentations related to the type of research that students can do at Georgia Tech and the different opportunities. And even if they're not a part of that track, there are a number of events where they're having panel discussions or information around what students can do for their interests around undergraduate research. And so I would encourage a student who is interested in research to look out for those activities and try to participate in those events so they can get that information.
Great. Thank you for that answer, DeMorris. This next question here is going to be for Brett in Campus Services. Actually, a few questions, Brett. The first question is, when should first-year summer students plan to move back in the fall as regular starting first year, or more so a returning student, assuming they are able to move their belongings on switch day?
Yes, so for our students who are living with us this summer, they will transition to their fall rooms on something we call Transition Day, which I think is like August 5th or 6th. That information is going to be on our website very soon. That is before other first-year students will be moving in the fall, so they'll be able to get into the room a little bit earlier than other students. Don't have to stay in the room. They can drop things off and then go home, take a vacation, whatever they want to do, but they will be able to move in on that specific date. And if they can't move in on that date, they'd have to move out earlier and move back in after that date, because we'll have to have the other rooms in Glennon Towers where students are living this summer cleaned and ready for the new residents coming in. Our general move-in for first years is August 14th and 15th this year, and that is when the entire first-year class will be moving in. But the summer students who are living with us will be moving in on June 21st, and they will be able to transition right around August 5th, 6th. I'll have to check the date exactly, but it'll show up on our website very soon.
And thank you for that answer, Brett. The next question for you here is, my student is looking to room with second-year student. Are there any issues with first years and second years living together?
There's not really an issue, except it's a really difficult thing to arrange because our upper class students have already selected their rooms and they're generally already in full rooms. There aren't specific buildings where we have first years and second years living together specifically. That does happen occasionally in Woodruff Hall, which is a suite style building, but that building fills up rather quickly. And so for students with a high priority number, that is a possibility, but it is pretty rare for a first and second year student living together. Part of our first year experience is having first year students live with other first year students, so they're going through and experiencing some of the same things at Georgia Tech at the same time. And so that's one of the hallmarks of our program. There are very limited options for first years and second years living together, and it's not something we can really plan for. It sort of happens when we need space, basically.
And thank you for that, Brett. I have one more question for you here. Is the housing deposit a one-time fee?
Yes.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you. So the next question here, Colleen, you might be able to help with this, but is there a time frame for the student union completion? Oh, I see someone just.
Yeah, I want to say it was May 2022. Brett may know a little better than I do. The sooner the better, I think, in most of our minds. But Brett, do you have anything to add? But I think it's May 2022, so another year.
That's correct.
All right, thank you for that, Colleen and Brett. This next question is going to be for Larry. The question is, when will the Zell Scholarship be confirmed?
Thank you. For students who have had their final high school transcript as well as official test scores from either ACT or College Board sent to the Georgia Student Finance Commission, we anticipate that those awards will be confirmed by mid-June, so imminently, but you do want to make sure that you have sent both the final transcript as well as official test scores to the Georgia Student Finance Commission, and they will perform the ultimate verification.
And thank you for that answer, Larry. This next question is going to be for DeMorris. The question is, will Ignite have planned programming over the July 4th holiday small break?
Hi, thank you for that question. Yes, there will be a few events. What we typically do is arrange for a fireworks watch party in the stadium. I'm not sure if that will happen this year. We will also put together a list of local events for students to explore that they might be interested in seeing for themselves. But yeah, we'll have a few, it'll probably be just a few small events because typically this particular year, the schedule for July, the holiday covers like 2 days, the Monday, July 5th and Tuesday, July 6th. So we're anticipating a number of students who might return home. And so there may be a small cohort of students on campus, and we'll try to find some activities for them to do.
And thank you for that answer there, DeMorris. This next question is going to be for Michaela in our Bursar's office. The question is, when and where will required payments for summer be posted?
So the final payment deadline for the summer freshman session is actually June 24th by 4 p.m. As soon as your student registers for their courses, they will actually incur charges. So you could actually have your student log in to Buzzport, and there will be a link that says Pay Now, and they would click that link and be led to the payment portal in which they will see their posted charges for the courses they are registered for.
And thank you for that answer, Michaela. I do have another question for you here. Can payment plans be set up at Georgia Tech?
So we do offer payment plans. However, for the freshman session, they do not qualify for the summer payment plan as it is not a full summer session, but we do offer one payment plan. This one payment plan allows a student to defer payment for up to 50% of the current term's tuition and mandatory fee charges or the remaining account balance, whichever is less. Under the payment plan terms, half of the deferred balance will be due approximately 30 days after classes begin, and the remaining amount would be due approximately 60 days into the term. So this is the one payment plan that we offer if you are not paying full by the payment deadline.
All right, and thank you so much for that answer, Michaela. This next question is going to be for Larry. The question is, when do parents find out about the Hope Scholarship?
For incoming first-year students, anticipated awards should already be listed on the student's award notice. If there are other questions or if you don't see that, you can email us finaid@gatech.edu.
Thank you so much for that answer, Larry. This next question is for Colleen about emergency notifications. The question is, how are emergency notifications sent to campus?
There we go. Hey, everybody. Yeah, happy to answer that. So we have a couple different ways that emergency notifications are sent to the campus community. And the campus community is inclusive of students, faculty, and staff. So what I say isn't necessarily going to go out to parents or family members, and then I'll explain how you can get that information as well. But students, faculty, and staff can sign up for something called G10. So it's the Georgia Tech Emergency Notification System. I believe you're prompted when you do registration, kind of update your Buzzport stuff to kind of opt into that so you can get the information via a text, a call, an email, or all those different ways. So if there is ever an emergency on campus or there's information that needs to be sent out in a timely manner, that's the way that you would get that information. So there's G10s and then there's also Clery Act. So a Clery Act is something where there may have been a crime in certain different areas that are on campus or within 500 feet of campus. And so oftentimes those will come out as well. And those go out to everybody on campus too. Parents or family who want to be in the loop on emergency notifications would just need to check the social media sites for the Georgia Tech Police Department or our Emergency Preparedness Department, or both are engaged on social media and then their website. So that's where they'll update that information.
And thank you so much for that answer, Colleen. And while I have you here, I have a general question about safety. The question is campus safe?
You know, I mean, that's like the $1 million question. Is anywhere safe? It's probably what I would say to that. But I would say in general, I've been at Tech for about 15 years, starting my 16th year. I'd say campus on campus is fairly safe. I would say some areas kind of around the Georgia Tech campus oftentimes will have crimes and different things that happen, just like any big city, right? And so our Georgia Tech Police Department has over 100 sworn officers that are patrolling and kind of monitoring the campus. And so they're kind of trying to be engaged in that. And they also are in partnership with Atlanta PD, Georgia State Police, and some of the other agencies kind of in that area as well. They do have some things if you're feeling like maybe coming to campus, you just want to know a little bit more about safety. They have some programs and some different ways you can engage in that as well. But I would say most of the time campus is safe, you know, just trying to kind of be aware of your surroundings. They have different kind of things that the police department kind of asks for folks to do. And maybe I could ping to Brett to talk about some of the after hours transportations and things of that nature as well, just to kind of give students that option too.
Absolutely happy to take that. So our parking and transportation services do provide an overnight ride program. So during the day, we have a bus system called the Stinger that takes folks around campus. But after that system shuts down in the evening, there's a late night version of that that goes into while dining halls are open. Like I said, it's like 1 a.m. But after that time, students who need to ride around campus, they can call the Stingerette service, which is there's information on the parking transportation website, and students will get that number. They can call that number and it will pick them up anywhere on campus and drop them off anywhere else on campus, including the MARTA stations that are close to campus as well, and parking lots and things like that are proximal to campus. So that information is on the parking transportation website.
And thank you both, Colleen and Brett, for those answers. This next question is going to go to Chris and OUE. The question is, what's the difference between an internship and a co-op?
Okay, yeah, thanks for that. So a co-op is a formalized internship at the same company for 3 work rotations, and a work rotation is a semester duration. And so usually the order would be you would go to school for 1 semester and then work 1 semester, then school, then work, school, work. So for about 3 years. So that would be a co-op. An internship is usually for 1 semester of work, but many students are invited back for more semesters after that. And so, you know, so a lot of times companies offer internships to students like those because it provides a little more flexibility than a co-op, which is a longer term commitment. But I wouldn't get too caught up in the terminology and the difference between the two. You should go for the ones that's, you know, that helps you pursue your long-term career goals.
And thank you so much, Chris, for that answer. This next question is going to go to Michaela. The question is, how can we get details to set up college payment plans we have like 529 or Florida prepaid?
Yes. So, okay. So the 529 plans and Florida prepaid is actually not considered a payment plan in our eyes. It would just come in as a general payment, just as any other payment would. Due to the large and frequent changes of all of the 529 plans, it is recommended that you contact your 529 plan provider or Florida prepaid to get the details on how you should submit payment to the school. Outside of that, most parents and students will just gather the statement, the bill, and they will send that to the 529 plan or Florida prepaid, and then 529 plan and Florida prepaid will then send the payment to the school directly as a physical check. This is normally how it works. You would just want to work with your plan provider to find out how they're going to submit payment and what they need from you, because it is the students' or the parents' responsibility to get that payment to the school.
All right, thank you for that answer there, Michaela. Larry, I have two questions for you about Hope and Zell. The first question is, so we can assume that Hope and Zell will be available prior to the payment due date?
You cannot assume that. Ultimate verification is performed by the Georgia Student Finance Commission. So they tell us, all of that information is sent to us in batch. We assume that it will be available by the fee payment deadline, which I believe is the 24th of June. However, I cannot, and our office cannot guarantee that, because that is ultimately what the Georgia Student Finance Commission decides. And then it could also hinge on ensuring that your residency and everything is set up correctly. What I would recommend is, if you have any questions, email us, include the student's GTID number to fin8@gatech.edu, and we can make sure that everything looks good on our side, so that whenever the Georgia Student Finance Commission does send us that information, we are able to apply those awards to the student's account in as timely a fashion as possible.
And thank you, Larry. And you might have hit on this before, but the question is, can Larry repeat how to confirm Zell?
Yes. So Georgia Student Finance Commission makes that determination. You want to be sure that the student has had the final high school transcript sent to the Georgia Student Finance Commission. Usually, for most schools, that does happen automatically. The one little caveat is that because Georgia Tech was test optional, many students submitted admission applications without official test scores. So what that means is that ultimately you have to ensure that an official test score from College Board or ACT has been transmitted to the Georgia Student Finance Commission, because Georgia Tech is not going to submit unofficial scores. So those two things are important.
All right, and thank you for that answer, Larry. This next question is going to be for Ansley. The question is, do parents have access to their students' grades, or is the parent reliant upon the student to share?
That's a great question. So the quick answer is no, we do not provide any type of access to parents. You will be reliant upon your student to share information with you. Due to the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, we are limited to speaking with the student about any portion of their record only. So that means if you were to call us up right now, we wouldn't be able to share anything with you. We would redirect you to your student. So I do encourage families on FASET days, now that you know this information, please go ahead and have that conversation with your student so that they understand what the expectation is from you on how they can get information to you.
And thank you for that answer, Ansley. This next question is going to be for Brett in Campus Services. The question is, summer dining plan is only dining dollars, or are there meal swipes like fall or spring terms? What is the average dollar cost needs for dining hall meals daily? Trying to decide on which dining plan for the summer.
Yes, so just a little background information. Georgia Tech is switching dining providers. We're going from an off-site company to running our own dining services through Georgia Tech starting this summer. So that is why there's some things look a little different on the website and some things are closed. Contracts are being renegotiated and things like that. The dining hall, Britton Dining Hall will be opening as students move in on the 21st. and they've adjusted prices to match the declining balance meal plans they have specifically for this summer. So you can always add additional dining dollars to a dining dollar account. So probably, I believe, I'm going to direct you to mealplan.gotech.edu. I'll put that in the chat in just a second. That has some information, it has some FAQs, and it also has some information lines. So you might want to reach out to someone specifically in dining services, and they can give you the price points. I do not have that information yet, but someone there would be able to help you out. So I'll put that in the chat in just a second.
And thank you for that answer there, Brett. This next question here is going to be for DeMorris. The question is, where can we get a schedule and a calendar of the Ignite program?
Okay. So for your student to find information about the events and calendars and specific key dates, at Georgia Tech, we use a learning management system called Canvas. And this is where most of their information around their courses is found. And so within that platform, we provide a calendar for Ignite. And this is where they can just look up events for their track, specifically for their track, or that are just open to all students. But then also key dates for, so there was a previous question asked, when do students register for the fall? That's going to be on July the 7th. And so information like that will also appear on the calendar within Canvas.
Thank you so much for that answer there, DeMorris. This next question here is going to be for Michaela. The question is, normally, how many days are between when tuition and housing bills are raised and payment due? Trying to find out how many days I have between knowing the bill amount and arranging for the liquid funds to pay.
Gotcha. Okay, so good question. So there's usually, a month or more in a good year, right? If it's anything less, what I usually recommend parents do is, upon your student's registration, they will incur tuition and mandatory fee charges. I would just communicate with your student to ensure that, they're registered for everything, they're not making any more schedule changes, and you will know that all of their tuition and fee charges are there on their account. I would also say to have them, take a mental note of how much their housing is when they sign up for it. If it's not posted to the bill, they'll still be responsible for that amount in that same term. And then the same for meal plans as well. Sometimes all of those things can get posted at a different date, but to be on the safe side, it is usually a month before the actual payment deadline, especially going into the fall. For the summer term now, some students will see their housing charges already assessed, so those will come as we get closer to the payment deadline.
Thank you so much for that answer there, Michaela. This next question may be for Ansley or Chris, but the question is, what is the latest time classes are offered on a day?
I can handle that, James. So I actually checked with our assistant registrar for scheduling on this, and the latest that a course will start is 8:00 p.m., but that is very rare. And I do not anticipate many of your students having 8 p.m. classes. These are more likely going to be graduate level classes that meet maybe once or twice a week. So 8:00 p.m. is the latest that a course would start, but I think we can all agree that's more on the rare side.
Thank you for that answer, Ansley. This next question is going to be for Larry. The question is, are there any scholarships from Georgia Tech for high school valedictorians other than Zell?
Only if you are the valedictorian or salutatorian of a City of Atlanta school, otherwise no.
All right, thank you for that answer there, Larry. The next question is, with the diminished meal plan options this summer, are there enough vegan options to warrant getting a meal plan? It's going to be for Brett.
All of our dining facilities provide vegan, vegetarian, halal, and kosher meals. So there will be options for all students to eat, and all food is labeled as well. So students who are trying to, are concerned about calorie intake or fat intake or whatever it is, or ingredients, they will have the ability to see what's in all the food they're eating. So that information will be in the dining halls and in the restaurants. Students can also reach out to the nutritionist that works with GT Dining if they have specific questions about how to build healthy meals at Georgia Tech, and also work with the chefs in the specific dining halls as well if they have concerns or questions or want to see different things in the dining halls.
Thanks so much for that answer, Brett. DeMorris, I have two questions for you here. The first question is, Are there any Ignite or other events for parents to attend?
Unfortunately, no, not for the parents. I mean, I think the last event for parents might be move-in day, which for those who are coming to campus. But we do, that's an interesting question because we have usually do a showcase at the end of the term. And so that might be something if we live streamed it, it might be, you might be able to participate or witness that. But overall for the general activities, it's primarily geared to our students who are here.
All right, thank you for that answer. Thank you
James,
for that
can I
answer.
just add something about family weekend?
Sure.
Great, cool. So so in student life, we have a parent and family programs office. So I just wanted to give them a shout out and make sure that you guys are aware that that they have a monthly email that goes out, and they have different ways that they push out information through social media. They also have webinar series that they'll be queuing up in the fall that were a great hit this last year during the pandemic. But also we are bringing back Family Weekend Live in person in October. So we're really excited about that. So I will drop the link, but if you want to mark your calendar, October 1st through the 3rd, 2021 is when we will be hosting Family Weekend in person. So I think that would be a great way, if you don't have ways to engage this summer, to come back to campus and to be a part of the community. So just wanted to give a shout out to them.
All right, thank you for those answers, Colleen and Demoris. This next question is going to be for Ansley. The question is, are there maximum credits allowed for Summer Ignite? If 8 can be fit into the schedule, is this allowed?
I may actually want to turn that over to Demoris. Yes, the answer is yes. I will let Demoris provide the firm answer, but there is a credit hour limit for summer. When your student rolls to fall, they will be limited to 18 hours when they first register for fall, and then in phase 2 in August, that will be up to 21. Not that we are recommending 21 hours to each of your students in the fall, but I'm going to flip it over to Demoris for summer.
So generally, we have students register between 6 and 7 credits, meaning that at the minimum of 6, they're considered a full-time student during that 5-week term. Maximizing it to 7, it often happens when they're taking a lab course. Going up to 8 might be a little risky, and we don't recommend that. But there have been a couple of exceptions for students, given what their course needs are and what's available for them to take. So that's done on a case-by-case basis, but it's highly we don't recommend that just because the course demands it's a very short term, 5 weeks, and there's a lot of work that's done within that time frame. And so although it may look on paper like it's manageable, but the reality of students having to do and produce and be fully engaged with their classes, it's very risky. And so I'm not saying no, but if there's a need for that to happen, we can talk about that offline or work with the students to figure it out.
Thank you for that answer, Demoris. I do have another question for you here. Are there classes on Fridays for Ignite?
There are a few. Typically, most classes are 3-credit courses, and they run Monday through Thursday, with Friday being off. But then there's some classes that may have we have currently a computer science course that has a recitation, like a study lab. That's all that will be scheduled on Friday. And then there are a couple of classes here and there. But in most cases, many students will probably have a schedule where Fridays are open. And when that happens, what we often do is plan events for their tracks. So there might be outings or co-curricular or online remote events that are scheduled for Friday to use that time. So yeah.
All right, thank you so much for that answer there, Demoris. The next couple of questions is going to be for Brett and Campus Services. The question is there GT and or public transportation that would take students to a local grocery store, Walgreens, etc.?
Yes, there is. There's actually some grocery stores within walking distance of campus. There's a Publix that's a pretty quick ride away, and our Stinger service, which is the bus service, goes pretty close to that. It does not stop there during the day, but it stops basically across the street from there during the day. Also on the weekends, we have something called a grocery shuttle that runs to Atlantic Station. If you're familiar with Atlanta, there's a Target there, there's a Publix there, there's an IKEA there, and so that will be running. And you can check out the PTS website to get more information. I'd also encourage your students to download the Passio Go, PASSIO space GO. It's an app, and you pick the Georgia Tech link in that, and it will show your bus routes and where the buses are in real time, and the grocery shuttle schedule is included on that app as well.
And thank you, Brett. And I have one more question for you. How will freshman move-in work for the fall? Will students be given a time slot and only be allowed to bring one helper? Thanks.
Yes, so we've never limited to one helper. So just to let you know that last year, even during the height of COVID pandemic, we let family members help students move in, and we will continue to do that. For the summer move-in and the fall move-in, we are allowing parents and families to help students move in, although we do have a visitation limitation for the building. So after move-in, we're going to ask families to leave the buildings once they've helped their students move in. And that is because we are still following COVID guidelines in the residence halls so that we can limit any spread from students coming in from places where there may not be vaccinations available and things like that. So we want to make sure that we're monitoring what's going on, make sure students are still being tested, and for students who need vaccines are getting vaccines. So those will be available this summer as well. But starting in the fall, when you move in, you will get a time slot. That sign up will come up soon. It'll be either the 14th or 15th if you're not living with us this summer. And you'll be able to sign up for a time during that period, and you will drive to campus. There will be a centralized point where you check in to get your key, and then you'll be directed to your residence hall. All that instructions will be coming out. There'll be folks there with bins to help you get things to the building. Your family can move into the space, and then we will send you on your way. And we'll start our activities for Week of Welcome that weekend as well for our students. Lots of activities going on that week, and students will feel welcomed and hopefully excited to be here and get to know a lot about campus and the new folks on their floor. We will be limiting visitation for at least the first month of school until we can make sure that everyone is safe and healthy in the residence halls.
And thank you so much again for that answer, Brett. And that's going to be our last question of this session today. We thank all of our panelists for being here today, and we thank you all for joining us today for our parent panel discussion. Please feel free to email our offices or call us for any additional questions that may have not been answered today in this session. Please stay safe out there, and again, welcome to Georgia Tech.